What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Classically Chloe Show. I'm so glad you guys are here. I have another amazing guest on today, my friend and fellow patriot, Relentless Bill Robinson. He truly is another relentless patriot out there fighting for our nation. Bill is an awesome reporter. He's reported a lot for Newsmax, for now the Epic Times. He has something called the Texas Insider just starting out. I'm super excited that he can tell us a little bit about that later. So let's bring on Bill. We're going to be talking about Taylor Swift and Trump and just all that kind of stuff. I'm so excited. Bill, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm outstanding. I couldn't be any better, and I'm so happy to be with you again, Chloe.
Great to see you, Bill. Okay, so let's just dive in. We're just going to kind of have a conversation, just open topics and just chat for about 20 minutes or so. So, Bill, I told you about how I posted a Taylor Swift or Trump's response rather to Taylor Swift's endorsement of Kamala a few weeks ago. Actually, he posted it the morning of the second assassination attempt. He posted on his Truth Social, "I hate Taylor Swift." And the right went crazy. I posted it on my Instagram, which is pretty small, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, there's no way he said that. That's fake." So President Trump probably a little bit better than I do. Actually, probably a whole lot better than I do. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the conservatives' response to that? Do you think that it was kind of crazy that they just couldn't believe President Trump said that? Do you think what are your thoughts on all that?
So I started interviewing President Trump for Newsmax last January in 2023, and I've interviewed him a number of times over the telephone and met with him and gotten to see him a number of times since then. And my feeling is that probably Trump was saying that tongue in cheek, although I do not have the feeling that Trump doesn't hate anybody. I think that's kind of a violent reaction from a low T Republican rather than a strong Christian conservative who loves Trump. It's not. It's absolutely not true that Trump doesn't hate anybody, and it's absolutely not true that any of us don't hate anybody. I love the left's reaction when you tell them that they're so ridiculous, their hatred of Trump is going to consume them, and they say, "Oh, well, we don't hate anybody." I'm sorry. It's so ridiculous. They obviously hate somebody. So they hate Donald
Totally.
Trump in this case. So, let's not nitpick President Trump. Let's get behind President Trump 100%. And let's, the amazing thing is, again, Trump's always right. And though I think it was tongue in cheek, the latest poll, I don't know if you saw it, was that Trump gets a much higher approval rating than Taylor Swift.
I
So,
saw
yay
that. I
for
thought that
that.
was pretty
Yay
hilarious.
for, yay for that. Let's have a party and celebrate.
I totally agree. And, and to the conservatives too, it seems like at this point we need to just be backing our president as much as possible. And if we're going to be fighting over what he said about Taylor Swift here and there, it seems to me kind of like a ridiculous fight to be getting into. It's like, you know what? We know Taylor Swift is for the policies and for the, I guess, cultural ideologies that will destroy America and that are destroying America. And so I just kind of feel like, at this point, we need to back the man who is doing everything he can to make America great again. And if we're going to get so upset over how he worded his feelings towards Taylor Swift and what she's doing to this nation, I think we can kind of get over ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's totally apropos, and I think that's very astute for you to say. I try to look at people who are criticizing President Trump. Try to look at their qualifications to do so. I mean, starting with do they know the man other than what they say about him on MSNBC and CNN? And then you've got to really examine. So it's all part of examining the source of where you're getting your information. So when somebody says something. Somebody smears President Trump or something, you've really got to then look at the person who's saying it and try to establish whether they have a fine brain or not. And when I look at Taylor Swift, unfortunately, I think she's part of this whole perhaps 5 or 10% of the American electorate who have kind of toddler brains. So they accept everything that they're being told, and they're just kind of like everything is seems to be truth and justice when they're getting the exact opposite, and it's all lies and evil. And so it's so funny because I think our whole celebrity group of simpletons. They think it's so important and everybody cares. Everybody from LeBron James, who didn't graduate high school, um, and all these different people are weighing in. Meryl Streep, and they're all at the Harris rally with Oprah, and all this
Yep.
stuff. These people are like, I don't know why they think they're so self-important and why they think other people care about their opinions. Shut up and dribble the basketball, or read your lines, or sing your songs, or whatever it is. But these people they've really got to be knocked down a notch or two, because and I love that I think Robert De Niro's attendance at movies has gone down significantly. I'm not going to watch any more
Mhm.
movies from that guy who threatened to punch President Trump in the face. Like
Oh
he'd stand a chance. He's about 5 foot nothing. And President Trump's reach at
gosh.
6'4", he'd just knock him through the plaster in about 1 second flat. It's like Joe Biden saying, I'm going to take him out behind the gym.
Behind the barn.
As a promoter, or like as kind of an imaginary promoter, I would have loved to make that come true and put President Trump and Joe Biden in a cage match. It would have earned billions.
I know. I think all of America is still waiting for that golf match that we were promised at the first debates. That would have been great to see too.
Yes, Biden has
Well,
no idea what he's doing on the golf course. You can just look at YouTube videos of him. Our puppet president. He's a puppet.
absolutely. So you just said a second ago about basically celebrities and these people who think they're really something out there. Their opinions are so great because they have a lot of followers. They need to knock it down a notch. And I totally agree with you. I think it's really important that also as Americans, we kind of stop paying so much attention to what they're saying when it comes to endorsements and all that. It's like going to celebrities for how you think you should elect someone to best represent you in the America we want to live in kind of makes no sense, especially when the celebrities are living on a whole different level than us average everyday Americans. You know what I mean? Like if we're living in America, we're not like Taylor Swift. I think I looked at this chart one time. Basically, had to do with like to her buying a $10 Starbucks is like nothing. It was like like just the comparisons in our everyday life and in what she's doing in her everyday life is so vastly different. Just when it comes to the amount of money she has alone, and I mean, so really, when she's voting for somebody, she's not feeling the hurt of the gas prices and the hurt of having to find a job where you don't have to be
Yes. Well,
vaccinated and all this kind of stuff. They can't relate, and so it's really silly to basically base your opinion on a vote based off of them. But I will say, with that all said, we have to look at also the values they're instilling. It's beyond the political candidates they're endorsing. At the same time, these people have been telling us what values are right and wrong for a long time. And even though you can just say, oh, hey, don't go to celebrities for your values, which of course is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea, even with that said, nonetheless, especially through music, I feel like music and film specifically, really pull at your heartstrings a lot. And whether that be in a positive way or a negative way, your emotions are going to get involved. And like I like the saying, facts don't care about your feelings. And recently I've been kind of swapping that and thinking about feelings don't care about the facts a lot of times. And I think that really applies to these celebrities and their influence, because not necessarily just, oh, I think that you should vote for this person because I like them or whatever and they're nice people, but at the same time it's a matter of that they've indoctrinated entire generations over time, over their career, with certain values, like values of LGBTQ being okay and acceptable, and that if you don't accept it, you're a horrible, terrible person. And things such as, oh, if Taylor Swift, and it was huge on abortion. Came out. She has no music on it, but she's been very, very vocal about how the woman's choice is so incredibly important, and it was such a sad day for her when Roe v. Wade was overturned. And so over time, we're just getting these kind of values instilled in the youth, especially. And then, of course, those people then grow up and become parents and a lot of times mothers, and, have their kids and raise them as Swifties. We're actually seeing that a lot recently, I think. I talked to several people who say, oh, well, I just love Taylor because I grew up on her music. I think that's dangerous. So, like, you interviewed Taylor Swift when she was what, 14? Is that right?
15, and it was before she
15.
was it was before she was known to anybody, basically, in Nashville, where her family had relocated from New Jersey down to Nashville because Taylor had wanted to move to Nashville and get a career in country music. So the whole family picked up stakes and moved down there. And, I just want to touch, I'll talk more about Taylor in my interview with her and the photo that I took of her. But I want to touch base on this American values thing because um, through your song, Country to Save, we get a real solid idea of what your values are and that they're truly America First values. That's what I love about the song. With Taylor Swift songs, we don't really know what her values are, other than, oh, my boyfriend dumped me, or, that's even how it first started. Although, when she first started, I thought she was going to be a country angel. And I thought she was going to really be, somebody who would stay in country, and she hasn't done that and be a conservative. Country people are typically conservatives. So this American values thing, I mean, unless American values include uh, disgusting, perverted, and kind of evil values, then these people have no values at all. And when I met and took this photo of Taylor Swift, I was thrilled because, first of all, I was convinced I was meeting a kid who was going to be incredibly successful. I didn't know she would bypass Madonna and Barbara Streisand and Lady Gaga and everybody else, but that's what she did. And I thought that she would be more wholesome than she turned out to be. It's been a long slide for her into degradation. And it's just like the industries of entertainment, films and motion pictures, and the music industry in particular, to take a really nice soul and spirit like Marilyn Monroe or Judy Garland or Liza Minnelli and
Oh
get
yeah.
them into drugs. I'm not saying she's into drugs, who knows? But get them into drugs, certainly with the previous three I mentioned just now. Get them into drugs, ruin their lives, corrupt their values, and before you know it, they're committing suicide. So
Yep.
I hope that Taylor Swift can stay away from all of that disgusting, evil perversion that's in the entertainment industry, although I'm not sure at this point. I think she can reverse course. Wouldn't that be great if she reversed
Yeah.
course, went back to wholesome country instead of this, like, I'm a pop idol? Like, it's ridiculous. Just quit it already.
And, and she has become a pop idol, and so the thing is, it's kinda like, at this point, I'm thinking it'd be really cool. I mean, think how cool it would be if Taylor Swift came out with, like, a song about Christ. I mean, the thing is, for me, like, I'm not, huge on advocating for more and more Christian music because I think that we have a lot of Christian music, especially, like, CCM. It's not my favorite genre, but I think it's good. I think that, though, we need more music that's outside of that. It's just everyday relatable music that comes from someone with good values, though. But with her,
Yeah.
since she already has all that music out there that's just, breakup songs and, oh, my boyfriend broke my heart again and again and again and again and again, which bless her heart for that. That's not easy. But, the thing is, how cool would it be if she came out with a song about Christ, like, being, her savior? I mean, can you imagine the impact?
It would be so great. And I could even see an opportunity like Robin Williams, or like, there have been other people who've made the jump from music to films, or from comedy to films like Robin Williams did. So if she
Oh,
would get her head screwed on straight and get back to good, solid American country values, then I could even see a place, especially given the way we're just decimating all the garbage that's coming out of Hollywood with good, solid movies like The Jesus Revolution and Sound of Freedom and God's Not Dead and, Am I, What is a Woman, and Am I Racist? I mean, it's just going on and on and on. Virtually every few weeks, I've got to lead my Patriot group down to the theaters, and we've got to go watch these great movies that are getting 98 and 100s on Rotten Tomatoes. And so I could even see a time if she would get back to Christian values, get back to simple, common decency of country music, then I could see her being in these movies. She'd be a great film star. I mean, think of her. And so she's
It'd
got
be
all these
so cool.
possibilities, but she's not headed in the right direction. And I'm
No.
afraid she's falling in love with the movies, with the money and all the stadium tours. And I think that, it's not a good thing. If I was her father, I'd be looking very closely
Right.
at what kind of men she's attracted to and involving herself with. And the fact that she's with this big football player, Kelsey, is just a big piece of
Mr.
meat. You
Pfizer.
never hear him talking. You never hear him talking or saying anything sensible. I'd just be, if I was her father, I'd be very concerned. And I think that, I'd really like to see her, if I was her father again, with someone more wholesome, someone more upstanding. And I think she's just headed down the wrong path. It's a shame. And I completely understand President Trump saying he hates her, especially when, there's this, everybody from Hollywood seems to be against him. Everybody from the music industry seems to be against him. But he needs to really incorporate more Kid Rock, more Jason Aldean, more Lady
No,
No
for real.
Grady, more Oliver Anthony, more of the people who are doing the songs, more Chloe Castillo, and more Hadas Levy, and more Forgiato. And he needs to really get closer to those people rather than weighing in on a lightweight like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and with Taylor Swift too, like you were saying, she's getting so wrapped up. I wouldn't say she's getting, I think she is so wrapped up in the money and the fame. I think it has been for decades now, actually. But what's sad is, you like you said, her music used to actually be good, even if it was just kind of simple stuff, no, amazing message, but it was something relatable and it was wholesome. And even if it was just about breakups, that's something that's real. And that's something that you can sing about and talk about. And if you have good music about it, like more power to you. I think it's awesome. And the thing is, though, is that she's gotten to the point where now it's like, she has that song Karma where she has Ice Spice. I don't know if you know Ice Spice. You probably don't. But if you do,
I don't.
probably some people listening do. So Ice Spice is a rapper. If you look her up, she's one of the most degenerate artists out there right now. I like to call them degenerate. I think they are. Her music videos just consist the backside of her upside down, if that makes sense. Lots of that, lots of very short shorts, or no shorts. So I don't know, you know what you would call it. But and like one of her recent songs was called "You Think You're the Shit or You're Not Even the Fart." I mean, just ridiculously, almost hilarious. Um, how terrible and how stupid and how empty the music is, and it's like it's just appealing to people's most animal, I guess, instincts in the most disgusting way possible. And so it's really sad to see someone like Taylor Swift collaborate with these kind of artists because it's like, where are you trying to bring your audience? Because your audience is young girls, your audience is the youth, your audience is people and families. Families are going to her concerts. So why are we then incorporating you and your supposed wholesomeness within Ice Spice? And Ice Spice is, I mean, it's the complete opposite spectrum, end of the spectrum here. And so when you're bringing in these young girls who want to hear your music because it's pop and it's fun and you're pink and sparkly and you talk about boys, and then all of a sudden you end up over here with Ice Spice talking about who knows what kind of terrible sex acts in the most disgusting way possible. It's like, oh, this is how Hollywood is now attracting these people who are still these listeners who still want wholesome music. They're giving it to them a little bit and then pulling it into this kind of degeneracy. So it's really sad to see. Um, and Taylor Swift also, her music, like that song she came out with, her music used to not really be propaganda filled at all. I would say it used to just be wholesome. Now she has like that song like Karma, like I just said, the one with Ice Spice, and now she has a song out. It's been out for years now. I think I could be wrong. I think a part of it was inspired by Trump actually, so it's kind of funny. It was I could be wrong about that though. It's called "You Need to Calm Down," and the song "You Need to Calm
Hmm.
Down" is basically telling the conservative movement and conservatives you need to just shut up, quit being so loud about your opinions. The whole song is an LGBTQ drag show. Basically, it's all these LGBTQ rainbow people all over the video. And then they portray the MAGA movement or the conservatives or whatever as these toothless hillbillies holding up cardboard signs of hatred and and disdain towards these people who are just so happy and sparkly and wonderful and gay. And it's like, no, this isn't really what's happening though. You're actually indoctrinating the youth to accept this as normal. And if you don't accept it as normal, you're a horrible, terrible person, and you should be, seen as such in society. And so it's really sad, especially with the conservative Swifties that you've talked to me about recently. So, Bill, you said, I think it was yesterday actually, you sent me a page on X. I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to read one of their tweets. It's a conservative Swiftie X page, or I'm sorry. Swifties for Trump is what they're called. And it says,
Yes.
as most of you undoubtedly know by now, Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris after last night's debate. We respect Taylor's right to voice her support for the candidate she feels best represents her vision of America, just as we respected her decision to support Joe Biden in 2020. It will sway our support of no, will it sway our support of Donald Trump? Not in the least. Okay, so they go on and on and on and on. Just talk about all the reasons why you shouldn't support Taylor Swift, or not. I'm sorry, wrong here. Why you shouldn't support her endorsement of Kamala, because it's ridiculous. She can't relate to the everyday issues that we're facing as Americans in a Kamala Harris run country. And so they do a very good job in their post. But the very end, I want to read this. The very, very end of the Twitter post here. She says, or the person writing this says, make no doubt, we are at a crossroads in this country. This isn't about who a celebrity endorses. This isn't about identity politics or even personality. It is a fight to stop the destruction of democracy, which is, we don't have a democracy, but it's okay, a little slip up there, and the freedoms and values America has stood on for almost 250 years. Vote accordingly. So that last part there where she says, the freedoms and values America has stood on. I want to kind of talk about that. So, this post is basically saying that we need to fight not only for our freedoms, but also for our values. So, what would you say, Bill, to these Swifties for Trump, um, who are very, very well, they're very well written. They're saying their point very clearly, I think. You can like Taylor Swift, but don't like her political opinions because they're going to destroy America. But I would say to that, you know, that's all well and true, but if you keep supporting Taylor Swift as an artist that's just okay in our society and is just normal to have our children listening to, you're going to get those values that take you then to that point of endorsing someone like Kamala. So what do you say to these kind of Swifties out there who are for Trump, and God bless them for being so?
I say they're more Trump. They're more Trump people who just happen to listen to Taylor Swift and not. I mean, speaking for myself, I'm an old rock and roller, and when I listen to Led Zeppelin or the Rolling Stones or Black Sabbath, I was still going to church, and their nonsense wouldn't indoctrinate me. I'm afraid we're dealing with a different kind of young person these days. I think I
Right.
say to the Swifties for Trump, good for you. Keep going, get stronger. There are almost
Absolutely.
22,000 of them. And the reason I found that, and that's only 22,000 that Twitter acknowledges, right? They're probably still, um, still kind of going in reverse on their followers. So it could be more like 100,000. But, I think the reason I found that and I went looking for it was because part of the conversation about I hate uh, Taylor Swift was that they were saying no Taylor Swift fans like Trump, and I was like, okay, let's just look into that for a second. So I found all these people who are like, clearly Swifties for Trump. They're going to stop listening to Taylor Swift forever in order to support Trump if they have to. And that's the kind of dialogue that's going back and forth on Swifties for Trump. But I think
Right.
on the flip side with Ice Spice and Taylor Swift, increasingly you're talking about people that will do anything for money. They have no
Right.
values, or they've sacrificed them long ago. They'll get disgusting. They'll support the LGBT monolith, which is really the pedophile groomer monolith,
Hmm.
and is grooming our children in public schools, is responsible for the never ending wars at the border and in Ukraine, where it's
Right.
supplying hundreds of thousands of children back into child sex trafficking. The pedophiles need more youth and more women for their gross machine. And so it's all part of this really evil, satanic kind of plotting that's going on. And I think that and the good side of all the things that are going on with Taylor Swift is she's got a lower approval rating than President Trump. Let's put that to bed. So she's not all self-important. And it's
Right.
quite possible her her endorsement will hurt Kamala Harris more than Trump.
True.
Because remember, Trump had this incredible tsunami of RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk. So they had to respond with somebody. And they're like, okay, let's put up Taylor Swift. Oh, yeah, don't forget Oprah.
Right.
Let's get Oprah. It's so pathetic. And I think, Taylor Swift has really opened up a very dangerous kind of almost Kathy Griffin or Bud
Mm.
Light or Disney/Target kind of support for LGBT, because particularly with regard to Kelsey and being at the Kansas City Chiefs games and always a part of the game. Like, why can't we concentrate on the play on the field? We got to be looking at the box, and she's doing her antics and her stupidity. And it's like NFL fans are tired, sick and tired of it. The
Yeah,
last thing is, as these people go through Hollywood and the music industry, they're always exposed to people who are homosexuals. And,
true.
fine, you're homosexual, on your way, live and let die. But the problem is that they're always surrounded by them, so they develop a real affinity and love for them. Even, much less, we don't even have to go to Cher and Liza Minnelli and how much they're loved by the gay community. But, even Dolly Parton has succumbed to this. Her love
True.
for homosexuals she's constantly talking about it. And it's a rare time when I have to say to myself, boy, that's really sad and unexpected.
Right.
And, I don't go
And
around lambasting homosexuals who live their lives and keep to themselves as I try to do. But the moment they start telling me how I have to, how they're going to change my kid, or whittle away at my grandchild's American values, that's where I draw the line. That's it.
absolutely. And I think you made a really good point there. So we're gonna wrap it up right about here. And like you just said, that's where you draw the line is when they start to whittle away. That was, I think, a key word there is whittle away, not just outwardly do it, but start to whittle away at those values. And that is exactly what these musicians have been doing for decades. They've been whittling away very slowly, and now it's becoming more and more obvious. Now they're just outwardly on stage dressed as Satan. We didn't start there. It was a slow, slippery slope of whittling away at our children's minds and at their ideologies and at their values. To now we're at the point where so many young people are falling for this ideology. So many of them are confused in all this homosexuality and LGBTQ movement and abortion being okay and all this kind of stuff. So I think that was a great point, Bill. Thank you so much for coming on. This was such a fun discussion. Next time I have you on, we're going to talk about President Trump's playlist because that's a really fun topic, I think. And so next time, let's do it. So great to have you on, Bill. Where can people find you?
People can find me mostly across social media at Relentless Bill. I'm always Relentless Bill. That's how I'm known. So any searches, anytime you're looking for me on social media, it's at Relentless Bill.
Awesome. And one more thing I want to plug here for you. How about this Texas Insider? Where can people find that? Where is that show going on?
So it's at thetexasinsider.com. And it's a spinoff from the Epic Times. It's their effort to go hyper local, which I think is great. And it's going to focus on
Awesome.
Texas. I call Texas a salvation state. Texas and Florida, without those two states, we'd really be in trouble. And there's a worrisome infiltration by Californians and New Yorkers and people from Chicago going down there and saying, oh, yes, we can't take it there anymore. We're going to totally change our politics, and lying about it, and then rapidly starting to vote for the same stuff they were voting in the other places. But I'm really excited about it because we're focusing on Texas news, the Texas fight, the Texas culture. Everything's bigger in Texas, and don't mess with Texas.
I love it, Bill. Thank you so much for coming on. Great to see you.
So happy to be with you. Thanks, Chloe.
Awesome. Well, everybody, that was Relentless Bill Robinson. He is such a patriot. I hope you guys enjoyed that discussion. Please go like and subscribe this podcast. Please save it wherever you listen to your podcast. And we cannot wait to see you guys next week. God bless.